always wanted to win. It's something that is deep inside of me. From a very young age, I was fascinated by fast and beautiful cars and racing itself. I remember watching my heroes on the grandstands or on TV, and I was fascinated by their skills, by the speed, by the control they had, but especially the harmony that they created between themselves and the car. And it was exactly that moment that made me realize I had that winning mentality too. I also wanted to become a successful racing driver. When Audi introduced Quattro into competition, they completely revolutionized the sport. It secured them some of the biggest trophy racing and rallying have to offer. To now be here on the legendary roads of the Col de Turini in the new generation of Quattros is super exciting, and I can't wait to find out what this Audi RS e-tron GT has to offer and how it will feel to drive this car in this legendary place. But what we really want to find out today is if these exciting new e-Quattros are actually as good as the proven Quattros from the past. And there's definitely no better way to find out than taking the legend of all Quattros, the Audi Sports Quattro, which is standing right next to me, as our reference. So what is Quattro all about? We don't have front-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive like we most usually see on the roads, but we actually distribute the engine power to all four wheels. And we do that in a very efficient way by actually transmitting the torque of the engine to where it's needed the most. So much on the theory behind Quattro, but as a racing driver, what I really want to know is how does it feel to drive this car with Quattro? And we are very privileged to have somebody with us who has been part of the development of the Audi Sports Quattro from the very beginning, and he's been super successful in it. He has won some of the biggest rallies, he's an absolute rally champion, and I'm very, very happy to have Stig Blomqvist with us, and he's going to show us what he can do with this car. Stig Blomqvist, what an absolute honor for me to sit here in this car together with you.
Nice.
Thank you very much to give me this ride. I'm really looking forward to see what you and this car can do. Let's go. Wow, Stig, what an experience. I mean, an absolute privilege. Get to drive this car next to you. Thank you very much for that, first of all.
Oh, welcome.
I mean, I just try to imagine how it must have felt to be back in the 80s with this beauty, competing on these amazing stages and collecting so many victories and trophies.
Beginning of the 80s, first 82, you couldn't believe the difference with two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. So it was really nice, and the feeling was fantastic.
Mega. I mean, you must have kind of determined a large part of the DNA of Quattro when this car was developed and then raced out there, right?
Yeah, we were spending a lot of time, but I think Audi have done a good job before they start rallying, because they wanted to show the rest of the world what four-wheel drive can do. Because everybody was thinking, okay, it's another Jeep system and things, but they soon find out it was a lot better than that.
And you know, I'm still a bit dizzy from the smell of the fuel and the speed you were carrying through the corners, but what do you think you could do with the modern Quattro, with the Audi RS e-tron GT on these stages?
With a little bit of trying, you will be quicker with that car, and that's a normal road car what people can buy. Really good.
Really impressive. Yeah, they're really taking the next step, and I'm sure you've heard of our, colleague at Audi, Lucas Di Grassi, who's kind of the expert in the e-tron topic, as he's a Formula E race driver and a very successful one. So I think I want to find out a bit more about what he thinks about this new technology, and I thank you very much for the experience. It's been a huge pleasure.
Okay.
And I hope to see you very soon. Lucas.
Yo, Nico.
What a pleasure.
What's up?
All good, and you?
Very
Yeah.
good, man.
So you are the actual Formula E expert, e-tron expert, and I'm really excited, you know, after having had a little taste of the e-quattro, of the RS e-tron GT, of what you think about it. Where are the main differences to the actual quattro as we know it?
There are so many differences between the quattro that we know it, with the internal combustion engine, and this car, that the best way, I think, is to do a proper drive on these roads, and you're gonna feel it straight away. Let's
Sounds
go.
like a plan.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
This is it. This is the Audi RS e-tron GT, the latest version of an electric vehicle from Audi and the most exciting one by far. This car has incredible stability due to the low center of gravity because the battery is in the floor of the vehicle.
Another very special thing of this car is that it's got two electric motors, one on the front axle, one on the rear axle, and it will distribute the power between those two axles as it's needed. So we have most of the time mainly rear wheel drive, and when we are starting to go quicker and we need to put more power to the ground, it will also start shifting the power to the front axle.
In a combustion engine car, you have a single motor, and you need a very complicated and sophisticated mechanical distribution with differentials and drive shafts to get this power and all the torque distributed in the four wheels. And with an electric vehicle, it's actually the other way around. The motors are controlled within milliseconds to distribute the torque in each wheel individually to optimize all the acceleration needed. You can only do that with an electric vehicle.
Thanks to this wheel selective torque control system, as we call it, we create kind of a torque vectoring effect through slight brake interventions, which help the car to turn perfectly around any kind of corner. We just make sure that the unloaded wheels are slightly slowed down, and this frees up the car in cornering phases and makes it rotate so smoothly, so stable, and also fast if you want to drive fast.
So as we go up, of course, we are using the battery electric power. You're spending battery to go up. But the difference with an electric car is that when you go down, you charge the battery back. Car automatically is regenerating the speed or the kinetic energy into chemical energy back into the battery. And that's the beauty of it. An electric vehicle, when you go down or when you stop, it recharges back the battery.
What's very impressive for me is that whenever I touch the throttle or I even think of touching the throttle, the car immediately reacts to my driving inputs. There's 30 milliseconds of time that the car needs to actually put the power to the wheel.
The acceleration is just absolutely insane.
And guys, my feeling tells me that Audi is really conservative with saying that this car accelerates from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.3 seconds. I'm 100% sure that you can do that quicker because there is just endless power and endless traction. And I'm sure we can hit a very low 3-second mark on the 0 to 100 acceleration. I'm sure you can hear it. This car actually does sound. It's the futuristic, dynamic sound that, you know, gives you a new impression of speed. Oh, I wish you could feel this. It's absolutely insane how this car is pulling forwards. And then also we get to this next corner and you feel in full control. High-level engineering is clearly very important if you want to be successful, but in order to make it happen, you need the right attitude. And there is one person who I'm going to meet today. It's Fabrizia Pons, and she is one of those who is really living that attitude. Fabrizia, what a pleasure to meet you here. I mean, you're an absolute legend. Together with Michel Mouton, you won several world championship rounds in the world of rallying. And I'd really like to know, how does it feel in such a moment when you turn all of that effort into a success that will stay, you know, forever in people's minds?
You know, in '81, actually, I didn't feel that was something so historical, so fantastic. I realized it few years after, when I had the time to think and to stop, because I am always working at the future.
We know that in this business, it's a very competitive atmosphere. Everybody, you know, thinks that he's the best and that he can beat the others. But you somehow manage to be one step ahead. And how do you keep that hunger inside of you, that passion?
You said the right word, is passion. We had such a huge passion. It didn't matter at all how many nights we were not sleeping and we were working. It's important, the commitment. It's important to know the car. You need to pass hours, days into the workshop and learn each single piece of the car.
I think that's a taste of your winning mentality that you had together with Michel. And I'm quite sure that this attitude made a pretty big difference along the way, didn't it?
I perfectly agree, because you have to have the mentality. In 2021, I'm still looking forward and never behind. And I want to win now.
I think, you know, before we think of creating new quattro moments, we should get a little taste of how these special moments feel. And I can remember one very historical moment of yours. And if you are ready, I think we should give it a go, no?
I think I am ready. I am born ready.
We are back at the base camp of our Quattro Moments event. It's clearly been a lot of fun, and I have come to a pretty clear conclusion for myself. And I can say that the DNA of Quattro, with all its history, its success, its performance, is clearly living on in the new e-Quattro. It has actually evolved. It's become even more direct, even more efficient, and we can look forward to many, many more exciting Quattro moments in the near future. Along the path, I soon realized that there were many more challenges to it than I initially thought. It's not only about the car, the technique, or the driving. You need the right mindset, you need to have that winning attitude, and you need the right people around you. And it has always been my wish, you know, to have people who are always striving to become better around me, who are always looking for progress, and who are just as hungry as myself for success. That's exactly why I drive for Audi.